What's going on, everyone? It's Badger here. And man, just when you think it can't get worse for Disney, it does. They are fighting a war on multiple fronts. They're being sued by 9,000 plus and growing women on from multiple subdivisions of their companies for pay disparity. They're being sued, or rather, there's an emerging scandal with Reedy Creek, which was the little property in Florida that they got revoked due to their little battle with Ron DeSantis over the Rights Family Care Act. It wasn't the Don't Say Gay bill because that was never said in the bill. Regardless, they it came out that the council basically that was in charge of working with Disney during that property were all just being bribed by Disney with season passes and plane tickets and other access like that. So on top of those two scandals, Disney Plus is a complete disaster. Multiple failed shows. A couple $1 billion every year. I think at this point they're like at or just over $7 billion loss in Disney Plus since its inception. Now there's this. This isn't even counting all the money they've lost. This is just this last year of 2023. They've lost almost $1 billion from their films. I mean, look at this. This is from Dan Merrill's channel. Please subscribe to him. Uh, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was Disney's only profitable movie. Everything else was a failure. Everything else was, oh my God, finally the Marvels. Look, they finally broke 200. Yeah, didn't even make it to 300 million worldwide. This is really bad. And this is a conservative estimate, by the way, just across the board. And by the way, if we went through this one, I think you would see the problem is probably the same thing because it's the same problem they always do. Either the story was corrupted by the message, probably what happened to Wish. Haunted Mansion, I heard was there was nothing of that, just wasn't that much interest in it. Little Mermaid, okay, that was story again corrupted by the message. Sure, she's a Halle. Hey, Haley Bailey is a lovely person. She was not the right person for the role. Creator, again, that just didn't have good marketing. Elemental, yeah, the word is out on all of these. So the families, normie families, have just they don't take their family to these anymore. And then of course, the dying MCU, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, CGI filled, Kang, and the rest. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. And for a long time, you go, how are they letting this happen? And we've gone over where they get some of their funny, but like, how is the board letting this happen? Well, there's a little civil war in that board, and it has been for a while. Because while it's filled with activists on one side pushing one particular message, there are activists on, I guess every side need activists, and so we get Nelson Peltz, who's the activist on our side, saying, "Hey, stop this. Go back to being family friendly. Go back to making movies that sell. Follow your source material and all that, because." Pushing all this agenda, which Bob Iger has admitted, basically, for lack of a better term, they went woke and they now are going broke. I mean, look, Disney's never going to go broke because of all of the companies they own and the multiple parks, and people still go to those even if attendance is down and getting lower. They'll never go broke, but they've certainly lost another $1 billion is bad. It's real bad. So let's look into this. The battle for the future of Disney just got serious, and I'd wager it's been serious for a while, but now everyone has just caught on to how effed this whole thing is. So, and forgive the article from CNN, but a powerful activist investor is escalating his battle over the future of Disney in a long simmering feud with CEO Bob Iger and the company's management, trying to gain 2 seats on Disney's board. And let's remember that Bob Iger is the architect of all of this. Long ago, he set all of this dumb shit and all those phases. He let Kevin Feige have, and then he left, right? He let Kevin Feige have free reign. He left. Bob Chapek came in, and he was basically a fall guy. He tried to stop some of this stuff, and then he was immediately attacked by the Alphabet Mafia and all of Disney's investors and all the people that infested that company. That we're finding out that they're firing people left and right. They got rid of Victoria Alonso. Look, until they get rid of Kevin Feige, the MCU will never be saved because he's the one that started all that. He's the one that said he wanted the majority of the Marvel heroes to be females. Gary from Nerdrotic might have coined the term the MCU, but Kevin Feige is the one that conceptualized it and executed it. Full stop, 100%. And again, since everything says Kevin Feige production at the end of the credits, and they all lose money, I think we can see the through line on that one. The point is, a lot of these things have been there a while ago. Bob Iger is the focal point of this, and now he's back. He blamed all of his own things that he started that didn't work on Bob Chapek, who tried to stop it but had no power and then got fired in the middle of a night at a concert. And now Bobby's back, and people like Elon are telling him to go fuck himself, quite rightly. I think we all need to do that. But here's Nelson Peltz, who for a while has been saying, "Go fuck yourself, Bob. You're losing us money with this." Trion Fund Management will nominate Nelson Peltz, its founder, and Jay Rasulo, a former Disney chief financial officer. And by the way, by all reports, a longtime Bob Iger loyalist. So when things get so bad that you're like, oh no, you can't do this anymore. Like even your friends are turning on you. I shouldn't say friends because there's no friends there, but at least the people that you thought were your allies, quote unquote. The investment firm said Thursday this comes after Trian in November launched a new bid for seats on Disney's board, a move the media conglomerate turned down. Of course they did, reigniting its battle from earlier this year. Disney, over the past year, has struggled mightily with a surprising number of flops. It's not surprising if you've been paying attention. It's not surprising you've been paying it. What's surprising is all these people now have to admit that we were right. Declining viewership for movies and linear television, along with massive losses in its streaming business. Massive. Peltz is looking for a turnaround. Yeah, we all are. We all are. And I don't care. That's the point. We've always said, like, don't they want to make money? You could just make stuff that was loyal to the source material with actors that look like the characters, and you'd make $1 billion every time. I don't all this nonsense about superhero fatigue that would drop away if we had a couple movies that were good in a row. Character, has been said many times, character and story will always trump agenda when done right. As Disney's largest active shareholder, we can no longer sit idly by as the incumbent directors and their hand-picked replacements stand in the way of necessary change. And peers and competitors continue to outform. And Disney is nothing but failing upwards. Every single writer that does a shitty show that no one cares about, they get put on a movie to make it shitty so no one can cares about. The writers from Moon Knight, get and Loki and Multiverse of Madness, who've done more to break the lore and ruin interest in it and disrespect legacy characters. They get put on some of the most important. It's crazy. It's like how do these people keep getting hired? And this is why. It's some weird agenda nepotism where the baton just keeps getting passed to these same unworthy people who, when they go on their storyboard, the first thing they do is they put representation and include, and the last thing they do is story and character. Fortunately, Trion said that it believes the driving factor behind Disney's performance to be a board that's too closely connected to a long tenured CEO and too disconnected from the shareholders' interest. And I would also say the vast majority of just normal people and what they do and don't want to see. The firm also said that while it approves of the appointment of Morgan Stanley CEO James Gorman and former Sky CEO Jeremy Darroch as directors as a step towards achieving objectivity on Disney's board, which apparently is not. In fact, from all reports, the entire the entire trying to think of the word, the entire environment basically in Disney and all the way down, this trickles all the way down to all the departments, Star Wars, Star Trek, all of them, is one of bullying and cronyism. In that these people that have all taken control and had, the same people that told Gina Carano that if she didn't want to be fired, she had to go on a Zoom call with 40 activists from the LGBTQI community. She's no, I'm not going to be screamed at by 40 people on Zoom calls. I'll meet with some of them in person. And they went, no, not good enough. You're fired. Meanwhile, Pedro Pascal is allowed to call half of America Nazis on Twitter. Not a word said. All right. Because remember, Disney is all about representation and diversity and strong women. Unless those strong women don't agree with them, then they cancel them and insinuate that they're racist. Isn't that nice? And they don't pay them equally either. That's that nice. At least 10,000 of them. It's sad. Hypocrisy, it's not even funny anymore. Trion expects the next annual meeting to take place in spring 24. Well, that's what annual means. While Disney shareholders in 2022 cheered CEO Bob Iger's return to the company's helm, boy, that was a mistake. The company this year has battled with declining linear TV revenues, misses at the box office, and efforts to slash costs. Bloated, they don't know how to make television. They don't have, first of all, they don't know how to make television. Let's start with that. That's what the majority of their losses on Disney Plus are, and they've admitted to it. They film it like it's a movie. They film all of it at once without hearing any feedback. Then they go back and make corrections and make reshoots. It's expensive. It leads to a disjointed product, and then you throw in the getting further and further away from source material. Look, I was totally in on Marvel even after Endgame. I liked WandaVision. You know when I knew something was wrong? It's when Doctor Strange didn't show up at the end of WandaVision. He was the Sorcerer Supreme. Wanda apparently is using a form of magic, and now I know people will say, well, he wasn't the Sorcerer Supreme at that point because after he got blipped, Wong took over. Okay, fine. Why didn't any Sorcerer Supreme show up at the end of WandaVision? And you know what the reason for that is? This is verbatim. This is Kevin Feige's quote, and he's talking about Doctor Strange. He's talking about Strange as the Sorcerer Supreme. We didn't want, quote, just another white guy to show up and save the day. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself, Bob, and go fuck yourself, Kevin. He should, and it wouldn't have been showing up to save a woman because that's part of their rules. You can't have a man save a woman. Literally, it's part of the rules. It's in there. It's in the guild, the Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild. It's in their little like notes and stuff. The point is losing track of characters, agenda, and they don't know how to do. Again, 8 episodes of Daredevil were filmed. He didn't put on the suit until the 4th episode. They don't know what they're doing. That's why they fired them all and recast it. You add that on top of them connecting characters you don't care about on TV shows you don't care about, trying to connect to movies you don't care about because they all just keep circulating and passing that baton to the same untalented group. That on top of them admitting that they so dislike their writers to know actual source material that they don't hire people who know the comics. That if you go with them and you go, yeah, I know the comics back and forth, baby. Let's go. I know all the characters. Oh yeah, they go Get Out. No, we need new people that'll look at it with fresh ideas, which basically means insert modern day social, political politics instead of the classic messaging that was in all of this stuff. Yeah. So over $1 billion lost this year, $7 billion since inception on Disney Plus. They don't know how to make TV. I don't even think they know how to make movies anymore. Until they do a full cleaning top to bottom, until Bobby's gone, until Kevin is gone, until KK, whatever. That's done. If you everything we're saying, everything you're hearing me say right now, I guarantee you in a year, you're gonna hear me say about Kevin Feige. You're gonna hear me say about Dave Filoni. He's not the savior everyone thinks he is, and I'm sure we'll do a video on that. But let me know what you think of this about the state of Disney. You still going to Disneyland? You still watching Disney and Pixar movies? You excited about Star Wars and the Marvel? Or are you, like me, completely sad and dismayed and at this point just apathetic that it's really doesn't look good and there's not that many signs it's going to turn around? Let me know in the comments section. Like and subscribe. Make sure to hit that stupid little bell for notifications, and I'll see you on the next one.